Crew Motorfest is shaping up to be one of the best driving and racing games of all time, but is it worth your money? In this video, we're going to find out. I'm going to go through all of the features of the Crew Motorfest, and it is a big game. And we're actually going to compare it against the granddaddy of driving games, Gran Turismo, and we're going to see how the Crew Motorfest is shaping up. We're going to start here with handling, such an important part of any racing game, basically the fundamental. And unusually for a crew game, the Crew Motorfest has a very weighty and deliberate handling model. And that is unlike the Crew 1, unlike the Crew 2, and it's unlike Forza, actually. You can see here, as we're going up in our Mazda RX-7, just how quickly you lose the momentum as you go into a hairpin corner. You really lose momentum quickly, and as you struggle to get it back. You can see initiating a drift here, going a bit off-road. We're going to struggle to maintain that speed. We're not just going to sort of slide around loosely on the surface of the track or the off-road as we might do in Forza. Keep the wheels spinning, keep the momentum. It's very similar, actually, to Gran Turismo 7. That's what I've got up on screen now. You can see here in a Porsche, like massively overpowered VGT vision car here. And the back end on this thing is not moving around that much. It's a sticky racing experience. It's very understeery in Gran Turismo. You go around corners, basically pushing it as much as you can, trying to actually invoke some oversteer to get more rotation. And we're getting a similar feeling in the Crew Motorfest, which is interesting for an open world. And you can see here, off-road sometimes game by having that weighty model. I reckon they might think about tweaking this, because it means that in races, if you hit a wall, if you go in too much of a drift, it can be a bit frustrating to have to regain that speed again. Now, this bit of the video is about, just frankly, an area where Gran Turismo can't compete, which is the off-road, which is the free roam, the freedom of the Crew Motorfest. And the big thing is that this game is no longer set in America. We are in Hawaii, and you might recognize this map if you're an OG and played the very first Test Drive Unlimited game like I did. What a game that was. And I have to say, I really like this open world. I think part of the reason I like it so much is because of that mode there, which is the Grand Race, which takes you across some absolutely incredible, I believe, AI-generated kind of point-to-point racetracks. You can't do any point-to-point racing in Gran Turismo 7, even though we have these amazing vistas here. You can see at Special Stage Route X, and we were at Big Willow before, where it would be amazing just to put your foot down and kind of go into the horizon. People have tried to find their own free roam experiences in the game, but it just does not compete. What about AI difficulty? Well, a lot of people will be driving against AI. You can see here that we're driving against real people that tend to crash into each other a lot more. Gran Turismo is meant to be world-leading on AI, but in classic Gran Turismo form, they don't even have that world-leading AI, the Sophie AI, in at the moment, which is crazy, because when it's in, and I'm going to show you some footage here, it is by far the best racing experience you can have against AI in any racing game, and it's arguably the best AI in any video game, full stop. But in the Crew Motorfest, you can have some really fun races against AI in the playlist. I actually found it surprisingly difficult, so I just want to let you know I found it surprisingly difficult. Going to drifting now. This is where we see that weighty model in the Crew Motorfest start to be a little bit of a problem in certain circumstances. So I found it very difficult to drift in the Crew Motorfest. I have a separate video talking about how I got better, and basically you need to carry through a stupid amount of speed, as you can do in Gran Turismo with that weighty model. Now, something like Forza or something like Drift CE, you can drift at very low speeds. You can't really do that in the Crew Motorfest, and you struggle to do it in Gran Turismo. It's actually a similar approach there. I actually liked the drifting in the Crew Motorfest and I got my head around it, but it's quite unique as well. Now, here we go to the Grand Race. This is a feature that, frankly, you don't get anywhere else. This is what I was talking about. This AI-generated point-to-point race, which means I believe it's basically unique every time. You can't prepare for it in the same way that you can prepare for a specific circuit. You just have to be accustomed to the changes might come. Of course, there's going to be certain points in the island that you're going to come across time and time again. But I love that feeling of not being able to prepare. We're here at Spa in Gran Turismo 7, a track that I've done thousands and thousands of laps at. I've been here in real life. That's a very different vibe. And if you want to learn a track inside out, a real world track, that's going to be for you. If you just want to drive, then the Grand Race is absolutely insane. What about cars? Well, there's going to be over 600 in the Crew Motorfest at launch. I have another video where I've gone through every single car. What does GT7 has? It has less than 500. So there are more than 100 more cars in the Crew Motorfest. Now, you let me know whether you actually like these cars. You can see they've got quite a lot of variants of essentially the same car, which is a little bit cheeky. That kind of goes back to the Crew 1. Now, in the same area, we're talking about customization now, and I found this interesting because I thought Gran Turismo had the best livery editor, but I found the livery editor in the Crew Motorfest actually quite intuitive as well. When it comes to modifications, Gran Turismo is way more realistic. The Crew still has the same crew, just like random upgrades that they're not specific in any way. Gran Turismo will actually teach you how to set up a car. And if you've seen the Gran Turismo movie, which I'm in, you'll see that the main character uses his tuning knowledge to progress himself further in the movie. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is Rewind. And this is a bit different than you might expect because Rewind actually kind of rewinds the whole race back, but it doesn't reset your damage and it doesn't reset the clock. So it's useful racing against other drivers, but it's also not as overpowered as you might have in, say, Forza or the F1 games. You can see here, by the way, in Gran Turismo, absolutely no rewind function goes against a whole these sorts of game. Location, well, I want to just talk about this because in Gran Turismo, you do have a lot of locations, albeit they are closed tracks. In the Crew, you have this big island with sort of different biomes, but also not as different as we had in the USA map. Now, I hope they're going to do different seasons here, make it snow, kind of maybe have, you know, wet weather, or, you know, just have some sort of unique circumstances. Now, I do that in the playlist. The playlist, they will dress up your area. If you're doing a Japanese playlist, they'll dress it up. If you're doing a Porsche playlist, they dress it up. But the island is going to be the island unless they add the USA as a DLC. Gran Turismo, again, a little bit like the movie, you can think of a globe-trotting game where you're going to visit some of the most iconic circuits across the entire world and some made-up ones as well. So it depends what you want. Are you happy with one map that you kind of want to get to know? Or do you want to drive on real circuits? Because that you're going to get in Gran Turismo 7. Now, ideally, Gran Turismo would also have a free roam area, like, you know, the home screen could be a drivable area, but I've talked about that in other videos. Now, I want to talk about creators here. Creators are such a massive part of racing games, the incredible liveries that a lot of us race in. I know in our community, the KCR community, we are just blessed with the best down liveries in motor racing. And I don't think Gran Turismo gives enough support to the livery creators. That is changing in the Crew Motorfest. You can see here there is an actual walkable, explorable area where you can see the iconic liveries and who made them. Now, we share our liveries in our Discord. Make sure to join there. But I want Gran Turismo to add more ways to celebrate these amazing creations that we have, and give some credit to the livery makers. Literal credits, also just attribution credit, so they can be shared, they can feel good, because these are actual geniuses at work. And that's what I want to end this video with. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe as well if you want to see more Crew Motorfest, and we'll see you next time.